Elon Musk's Twitter acquisition was widely celebrated by the political sect that considers themselves anti-establishment. His grandiose promises to restore online free speech catapulted him into an almost hero-like status among those who opposed political or ideological censorship. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking out heroes, especially when our culture and political climate is so abysmal, corrupt, and unfair. But seeing Elon Musk as our white knight could very well be misguided. A look slightly below the surface of his public-facing persona paints an interesting picture, a picture of a billionaire that might not be any less benevolent than his World Economic Forum aligned counterparts. First, let's look at Elon's take surrounding the war in Ukraine. The governments of the Western world are facing pushback and criticism regarding their policies in Ukraine, which many argue could very much end in a nuclear catastrophe. Those who criticize these supposedly dangerous policies which also funneled billions and billions of dollars away from the tax bases of the US, recently found an unforeseen ally. Elon Musk took to Twitter and promoted the surprisingly controversial opinion that diplomacy and peace is a better way to navigate this geopolitical disaster, as opposed to war. But at the same time, it's Elon Musk that has been spending hundreds of millions of dollars in an effort to make sure the Ukrainian army had high-tech internet signals for their satellites and missile systems. Musk was celebrated by COVID dissidents earlier this year when he called pandemic villain Bill Gates a knucklehead. But in what's turning out to be typical Muskian fashion, the Tesla CEO actually worked with Bill Gates and spent millions of dollars to help his company develop RNA for a novel experimental COVID vaccine. It turns out that Elon Musk is entirely aligned with the World Economic Forum's most consequential Great Reset type policies. First, here's Bill Gates talking about the prospect of a carbon tax.
Yeah, it's absolutely a carbon tax if it's politically adoptable, if that can practically happen. A carbon tax at quite a high level that, has some resemblance to the green premiums for these products. So it'd have to be like $100 to $200 a ton. That sends out the clear market signal.
Here's Elon Musk talking about the prospect of a carbon tax.
$5.3 trillion a year, according to the IMF, every year. We need to move away from this and have a carbon tax. Then the question is, so what can you do? I would say whenever you have the opportunity, talk to your politicians, ask them to enact a carbon tax.
Here's Barack Obama cheering for universal basic income, a pillar of the World Economic Forum's fourth industrial revolution.
And a sense of place, and a sense of purpose. And so we're going to have to consider new ways of thinking about these problems, like a universal income.
And here's Elon Musk talking about universal basic income.
This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income.
Here's Great Reset chief Klaus Schwab on his transhumanist plan to insert microchips into people's bodies.
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables, comme on le dit. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans nos cerveaux ou dans notre peau. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et le monde digital. Ce que nous voyons, c'est une sorte de fusion du monde physique, digital et biologique.
And here's Elon Musk, who has an entire company perfecting that.
We've simplified this to simply something that is about the size of a large coin. And it goes in your skull, replaces a piece of skull, and the wires then connect within a few centimeters or about an inch away from the device. To sort of simplify this, it's more complicated than this, but in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
Also, it's important to remember that Elon Musk is also a World Economic Forum young global leader. In a world where society watches too much television and too many movies, it's easy to become screen damaged or believe that just like in the movies, a hero with grand ideas is going to catapult humanity out of this trap and forward. But whether forward means carbon taxes, brain chips, universal basic income, and experimental vaccines is up to society. The Therefore, it's wholly unwise to celebrate anyone pushing for these ideas. For Rebel News, I'm Jeremy Loffredo. If you want to continue seeing the other side of the story, not the government narrative or the corporate media narrative, head to rebelnewsusa.com.